panelists having proposed some succinct and I think very thoughtful solutions, ideas that would actually help government agencies increase their contracting to service-disabled veteran-owned businesses and increase efficiency in the system. Just have a couple of quick questions, and then I'm going to defer to our ranking member. But I've heard from a number of service-disabled business owners complaints about the process whereby when they make a complaint about an award, they protest to the SBA and they're sent back to the original contracting officer, who then either tells them to go back to the SBA, or they are concerned that complaining to that contracting officer kind of muddies the waters for them for any future contracts. What I want to hear from you are any thoughts about, and also from Mr. Sharp for the people you represent, any thoughts about your approach, how you see your relationship with those contracting officers, and are there things that we could do from the congressional side that could make it easier for you in terms of your ability to relate openly with contracting officers, but also be able to point out problems when they exist without suffering repercussions? Mr. Kowalski.
Yes, sir. I think the contracting officers are not well trained. The ones that have been in business for a while are. And when we approach the contracting officer, we don't go to the SBA to protest. We go directly to the contracting officer, and the contracting officer comes back with a few excuses and said, well, you know, this, that, and another thing. But what we've talked, well, for instance, this morning, we had my contracts person contact a contract officer in NAFC, and he wondering why this contract is being put out unrestricted vice small business or even SDVOSB. The contractor replied that he was Seaport told them, it's on a Seaport contract, told him that he would have to put it out small business, but he was able to have them change that to go unrestricted. Now, it's a 15-man-year contract. It's about a $1.5 million a year contract for 5 years. And what has happened, he told my contract representative that she asked him whether he did market research or not, and what kind of market research did he do on, you know, making this unrestricted. And she was replied to with the comment, I don't do market research. I mean, I think the FAR states that you have to do market research. I'm not sure, but I think that's the case. But I think it all lies with the contracting officer. I think if the contracting officers are really trained well, or at least abide by the FAR, I think you'll get more out of it, really.
Okay. Thanks. Anybody else? Mr. Sharp?
I've also been told that the contracting officers are poorly trained, and I've also participated with some of our business owners as they've had meetings with various contract officers, and it appears that there is a lack of knowledge, and my opinion is that basically the process is pretty dishonest. I just don't think our veterans need to come back, and when they're working with these contracting officers, that they have to do certain things by providing them dinners and taking them out and all these other little things that all seem to be included in this process. And I really think that there needs to be stricter oversight to this, because it gets to the point where it's really pretty dishonest for our veterans to have to more or less pimp themselves to get a contract.
Personally, I have never protested an SDVO contract awarded to another person because of the issue that you mentioned there, retaliation or just not wanting to muddy the waters with any agency. I think that if we stick to the 4 issues that I brought up, pre-contract award homework has to be done. We don't need the losers to step forward and try to protest if it's been confirmed by the SBA or other.
I think that's a good point. We obviously want to take the onus off of our service-disabled business owners from having to do all the protesting and all the heavy lifting when they've got very little extra time when they're trying to focus on doing their business. So I appreciate that. I want to give the opportunity to any of our panelists to comment on anything they heard from the first panel. And you have brought prepared statements, but you've also had a chance to listen to testimony provided by the agencies about how they look at contracting. And I just wanted to give, this is just an open-ended opportunity if there are any comments you want to make on what you've heard. And yes, Mr. Kowalski.
Yes, I really admire the VA. They have really gone above and beyond in meeting their goals. They're really doing a fantastic job. As far as the rest of the agencies, I'm not sure about the other two, but DOD, I think they're not getting the information up top. I think the information is not flowing up. I think there's a lot of excuses being made from the contracting officer and even the small business advocates in the commands, and I think they need to investigate it a little bit more.
Mr. Sharp?
We've actually visited a number of these agencies, and one part of the conversation that came out earlier today was that a lot of these agencies, if it's not coming from the head, that it's definitely not getting down to the procurement officers, and there's just not enough buy-in. We were even told by one particular agency that they are not getting that, and since their agency is the client, that generally when a company wants to do business with them, they'll do anything that that agency says that needs to be done prior to receiving the contract. So if the agency is saying that in order to do business with us, you will work with our veteran-owned businesses, that will generally happen. If that's not being said, then they will not do it. And they will use the excuse, well, I don't need to do business with you. The regulations state that I may do business with you, and a lot of our veterans see that as saying no. So those agencies where there is oversight, where the secretary and the administrator is telling them, giving them a directive that you will deal with veterans, generally you see their percentages rise. And then when you witness some of the meetings, you don't see all the other shenanigans that's going on, and then the fear of a protest, and then having to do other things than to do what they're supposed to do.
The only comment I have is more general, and that is we've been hearing the same thing for all the small business administration, business development programs, the same type of chatter, the same type of thing. We don't see anything being done. We don't see anything being implemented. There's no realistic approach by any one of the agencies that they have mentioned. It's more of a, yeah, we'll try to do better, our numbers will go up, and things will get done. But there's got to be something tangible. We don't see it. We just don't see it.
Okay, thank you.